Hey everyone, Andrew here from a Tale of Two Hygienists podcast. Yes, you are on the right feed, but no, this is not a normal show. I wanted to let you know right now that what you are about to hear is not suitable for work. It is likely also not appropriate for children. If you are sensitive to racy topics, go ahead and hit that delete button right now. You might not like this episode. But now that you've been warned, please welcome to a special RDH Rant Takeover episode with Heather, Anna, and Liz.
Hello, and welcome to another RDH Rant Takeover. I'm Heather, and with me today are the usual suspects, Anna and Liz.
Hey, everybody.
Hey! So today we're just going to get straight to the point, and we're going to talk about red flags on job postings and during the interview process. I know just from looking at our group that there are a lot of people looking for jobs and a lot of people looking for hygienists. So I feel like this is a super relevant topic.
Yeah, especially for employers. Like, guys, pay attention. Don't put some of this stuff in your job postings.
Yes.
Employers and new grads, because I know tis the season for new grads too.
Yes, next month. So this is kind of ironic because I just recently had to post a job opening for my office. I'm taking on a different role, and so this was something new for me, and I know that I spent probably way too long and stressed way too much over posting this job description, and I know that I bugged Liz and Anna. I'm like, read this, tell me what you think. Read this, tell me what you think.
And what was my response? I don't know.
Liz, sounds good to me.
Sounds good to me.
Liz is like, change this, change this, so I stressed over it because of a few reasons. One, I've never done this before. I'm in a new role, so I want to do a good job. And then because we have, 13,000 plus members in our group, and we get to see every day and hear every day, like, oh, not playing to that job because they use the term rock star. Or, so I didn't want to be one of those posts when I was asking for a hygienist.
Yeah.
And I also know that people all over the country are paying ridiculous amounts for hygienists because they're desperate. And my office is not doing that. Sorry, we're not. We pay good, but we're not paying $30 to $40 over.
And you shouldn't have to, but go ahead.
And we shouldn't have to, exactly. But I feel like my office has a lot to offer.
Exactly.
And so I was worried that, with this drought and all these hygienists looking for jobs, the first thing they're looking at is the money amount. And we're not going to have that. Sorry. And we're not bending over for that. That's bullshit. So I wanted to make the description appealing, but true.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's kind of ironic that this is what we decided on.
Yeah.
And I also think this post in 3 days had
almost 300 comments on it.
Yeah, of what to avoid in red
flags.
And
I was like, geez, it's everything. So I guess we can't avoid everything. No, I'm kidding. It was
Nobody
we're
wants to
just going to highlight the real red flags, not the silly stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
some people were very
it's
particular.
Objective. There are some things that turn people off, and some people it does not turn them off. I don't want to say it turns them on because that sounds really freaky and weird. There's some things.
If you want to turn me on in an ad, I may be, a little bit more interested. Liz, you need, But anyway.
But yeah, it's subjective, and there are some things that people will steer clear of, and there are some things that people are like, hey, that doesn't bother me whatsoever. But really with this, it's more of the red flags that we see the most often with people complaining about.
So I kind of wrote down some notes. And so the first thing I put was red flag words.
Yeah.
Yes. So when you first look at it, the title of the job description or we're looking for, and if it has these words in it, most people just don't even open it. They just keep on going. And I don't blame them. So just obviously
rock star.
Well,
that's number one. Yeah.
Rock star.
I'm gonna be honest. Can I be honest with that one? That one would not deter me from taking a job. It really wouldn't. I know that a lot of people, it bothers a lot of people, but for me, it's like, whatever. Yeah, I am a fucking rock star, so yeah. Like, I don't know.
Well, you come in like hungover and you do a line of coke.
Yeah, no, I'm like, no, I don't do that. I don't do that. That's a joke.
And then you trash the office and
I come in with,
yeah.
I come in with my guitar and I'm like, yeah, mother.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. No.
Yeah. That's what a rock star is. I could do that. But no, I think it's kind of like the term Karen.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of...
Rock star is equivalent to a Karen. It's just like, we want a rock star, which means we want someone who is going to work really hard in a shit job with 15-minute appointments and low pay and blah, 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 blah. So
rock star is a term for we want to exploit you.
Yes. There you go. Yeah. So, and superstar is kind of along the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other one was, can you guess? Fast-paced.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Fast-paced. Fast-paced and high energy, which means you get 30-minute appointments, no assistant. You're just a pro female, basically, is what I think a lot of us read into that.
The thing is that, I mean, all offices are fast-paced.
I think so.
You know what I mean?
It just
we can be.
I think it just it just depends on how fast-paced it is, but...
Yeah. Again, subjective. The other one, and I kind of always avoided this too, and I swear I get every stinking day a text message from a corporation saying, hey, we're in need for a hygienist. Here is $20,000 sign-on bonus, $10,000 sign-on bonus, 15. Like, I look at that as a red flag.
For me, I disagree with that, because if you had said that like 4 years ago, I would agree with you. But now, with such a shortage, I feel like a lot of offices they have no choice. Like, they have to do something enticing to get candidates to sign on. So for me, the sign-on bonus isn't so much a red flag anymore as it used to be.
It's a double-edged sword, because I feel like I agree with you, Anna, on that part, that there has to be something enticing. But at the same time, that's something that there were multiple comments, probably dozens of comments of hygienists seeing that as a red flag. So I think that part of the problem is a lot of hygienists see that as
desperation,
being trapped into a job.
Or desperation too, which it is. Well, it really is desperation, because there's such a shortage. And yes, with these sign-on bonuses, because I used to do hiring, and we used to give sign-on bonuses. We never gave 20,000, but maybe $5,000. I think the highest one we did was 10, because there was this one office that the hygienists were just scarce. It was really upstate New York, and that one, I think our highest that we ever gave was maybe like 10,000, and we cried putting that in the ad. But we really didn't have a choice. But
I guess when I think of that, I think of signing your life away.
No, but it's all there's stipulations. Like, you have to stay on for a year. Like you have to give us a year contract.
Like, what are the stipulations for the sign-on bonus? Obviously, I want you to stay on for X amount of time. That is reasonable. But I feel like maybe Montana had one where it was like, well, you have to stay on for X amount of years, but you have to produce this amount of money every day. You have to do...
Oh, yeah, that's
like,
not
there was,
a good stipulation, yeah. I can understand the longevity, like a year, maybe...
Like, they paid you half of 10,000. Like, you got 5,000 up front, but if you want your other 5,000, then you better show that you can produce for it. Which, okay. That's
like a bonus then at that point. It's not a...
it's not a bonus.
Sign-on
it's not a sign-on.
It's not a sign-on.
So that's why I think it's a red flag to a lot of us, because we're like, what are the stipulations?
Yeah. So I've been getting, I had a guy from a corporation. I think I might have posted the whole thing in Rant, like the screenshots, but he was from a corporation and he was offering, like, it was some absurd amount. I want to say 25 to 30
That's
grand.
That's crazy.
Which is, I think it's the same guy I had.
Yeah. Which is a lot of money. Does it start with a K?
I don't remember.
Okay. So it's a lot of money, but it was also kind of a relocation type thing as well. But let's just say that it, I don't want to say life-changing money, but it would make things a lot easier because it would have paid off my car, which is a new car. But I told him, I've told you repeatedly, I'm not interested. I was saying it in a nice way, but then I started kind of playing with him a little bit, saying, well, if I'm not interested in that amount, I was like, but if you want to pay off my mortgage, I'm more than happy to talk. And he was like, okay, let's talk. And so I gave him the amount of money, which honestly for the area, and I've lived in my house for 20 years, it's under $100,000. But he was like, so I gave him the amount, and he was like, well, I can't really quite meet that. He was like, but I can see how close I can get. And I'm like, I'm not moving down there, my friend.
Yeah.
But if he had agreed, then maybe I would have considered it, because it's actually an area that I like in Indiana.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that screws with these. Like, every day I feel like I get some random text message from like some dental office, normally a corporation, that I applied to back in like 2014 when I first graduated from dental hygiene school. Mm-hmm. And they've kept my resume all this time. And they're like, hey,
this is a corporation that I worked for.
Oh, yes.
Previously.
I know what you're talking about.
So I used to just ignore them. But then there was one guy who sent it, and I think he sent it to you, Liz, and you and I realized that it was the same guy, which was not like one of those automated things. And then somebody posted in Rant a screenshot of that same guy sending her. And I think, didn't all three of us kind of gang up and like, hey, you're a two-timer.
Well, no,
I don't remember that. We're like, you're a two-timer. Didn't you just promise Liz?
Yeah, but that's
this?
their job. Their job is to reach out to like thousands of people.
I know,
yeah,
but we were just fucking with them. We were just totally fucking with him. And I think the other ranter, maybe Lainey?
I don't remember.
Or Gretchen or someone. It was somebody close to us, Liz. So we all just started texting this same rep, like just giving him shit about being a two-timer and how he promised you this, but he promised me this.
Oh, I don't remember that. That would have been fun.
So what I started doing, and it actually, and I'm sorry that I don't have the name on me, but not too long ago I got one of those. And so what I started doing is just sending our link tree back. Hey, this is Sis and Shuts Dental. We're looking for a hygienist. I just start sending our link tree.
Yeah.
Here, listen to our podcast.
There you go. Might as well get some views out of it.
We'll have to send them this one specifically
exactly.
from now on.
Yeah, so I did that a few months ago, and the girl responded, oh, hey, I'm an RDH Rant member.
Oh, that's so funny.
I listened to your podcast. I was like, oh, shit. I thought this was like an automated thing, but yay. So, any rangers listening to this, if you get some spam about a hygiene job, just send them RDH's Rant's link tree.
There you go.
So, there were some other ones. What did you guys come up with, Liz? I know you looked through this post.
Well, yeah.
We got past kind of all of the words. Unless, did you guys have any other, like, keywords? Red flag words, keywords?
Bubbly.
Yeah, bubbly.
Yeah, hard worker, fast-paced, energetic.
Energetic, yeah, that's another one.
I'm like, no, who is energetic in these days? Not me.
Oh, ones that want, there's two. The ones that want you to send a picture.
Oh, yeah.
And ones that want you to now, like, respond with a video.
Yeah, like, what am I going out for?
Introduction
I'm
of
going
yourself?
for a reality show? Like, am I going to be on Survivor? What's happening? Like,
no.
I'm not sending a video. Sorry.
It's Tinder or whatever. Send a picture.
Yeah, exactly.
So, honestly, like, I know you guys are like, that's taboo. But with all the technology and the social media, that really doesn't surprise me.
I guess, but I'm not...
You don't need to know what I look like. You don't need to know what I look like.
You don't need to. 100%
You don't need to know my age.
100%. But things are changing. Times are a-changing.
I guess.
But
and
why?
so I do see us going more towards, like...
more virtual, like, type interviewing. I'll be honest with you. I actually segue one of my regions, because I live on Long Island and I manage a region all the way upstate New York. I did 99% of my interviews via Zoom. Yeah.
I would too.
Yeah, but like
the lunch and learns that are via Zoom, I'm like, sign us up. Let's do this by Zoom.
Exactly. I think like technology is definitely going in that direction, and I love that direction. I feel like people feel a little bit more at ease, not sitting face to face in front of you and like you're in, you know what I mean? I think via Zoom, it's a more relaxed environment and people just feel a little bit more comfortable. I know I did, even as an interviewer. The interviewee is nervous, but even you as the interviewer, you're nervous too a little bit because you're meeting someone new.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I can't see asking a candidate, can you please send me a short video clip of you? Because I don't know. That's, I think, a little...
Tell us about yourself in a video. Like where I'm talking to nobody. I'm just, hi, I'm Anna. And then
I feel like I would do better at just talking to nobody than someone who puts me on the spot. Tell me about yourself. I'm like,
Oh, but they're still going to do that.
That just happened the other day. And I was like, what do I say?
Yeah.
I'm boring. I have nothing to say.
Oh, I
like,
know what you're talking about.
I'm like, I ain't got nothing to say. I don't know. I got 3 kids. I'm a hygienist. Like, I don't know.
That's funny.
I'm a nobody.
It's such an open-ended question. It is. Yeah.
It is. And I don't know. I see that, but then I also say like my kids' generations, like they have no social skills because everything is through technology.
I've lost my social skills, and I grew up in the 80s when that was not
me too.
around. So, and I feel like I've lost some of my social skills where like I meet with people and I'm like, like,
awkward.
Whatever.
I had to
y'all
do
are
this.
charming as
Whatever. Well, I know.
I fake it.
Says the most introverted person in this
Fake
panel.
it till you make it.
Who, me? I am, but I fake it so well. People don't ever know I'm an introvert.
I find myself having a hard time meeting somebody's eyes when I talk to them.
I don't like that. Don't like keep looking at me. Like
I had an interview. I had an interview the other day, and even when like just talking to my bosses who I've worked there for forever and I love them, and like I feel like I don't know, I just have off days where I just like I don't want to look at you in the eyes. It's awkward.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to topic.
Another thing that, and I don't know if this was listed on here, this is just one that bugs me, is when we're looking for a dental hygienist and then it lists your job description. And I'm like, bitch, I know what I do.
Exactly.
Thank you. Did you see my post in Indeed?
Yes.
No, I didn't.
I think I did.
I sent you the link to look at it. The one thing I did not do was post what an actual dental hygienist does.
We know
what we do. We know what we're hiring you for. You know what you're being hired for. So let me give you, outside of that bubble, what we would like to have in a employee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I hope you can scale. I hope that you can polish.
Exactly.
I hope you can give OHI.
I hope you're perio-centered and understand what periodontal disease is.
Yeah. I'm with you, Liz.
That drives me nuts. And sometimes it's so long. And I get it. If it's something that's normally outside of the responsibilities, like, we may have you
scrub a toilet,
cross-train with front desk abilities. Actually, I would like to know that up front, because if I have to make phone calls, I'm not going to be very happy about it. And if my office is listening to this right now, I'm sorry, but you guys know how I feel about that. So anyway,
I'd rather make a phone call than talk to them to their face. But
no, I'm talking about like patient.
COVID.
I'm talking like patient treatment plan. Like, hey, outstanding treatment plan calls. I hate that. I'll text them. Through Weave all day long. But to actually speak to someone
Weave. You guys have Weave?
We have Weave. Yeah,
I don't have a Weave. I need one, but I don't have one.
So there's that one, and then one of the other ones is when they don't tell you, like, you need to know what benefit.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we need a hygienist. And they don't tell you about the office. They don't tell you what benefits you get. They don't tell you how about like what the treatment time is. If it's assisted. Tell us about the job itself.
Yeah, that's what I did. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, hey, we give 1 hour per patient. For SRPs, we do this. We have brand new Hugh Freedy Harmony instruments that we send off to be sharpened every 6 weeks. You don't have to sharpen. we give you a scrub allowance to buy your own scrubs, and we give you a shoe allowance.
A shoe allowance? I've
Like-
never seen that. I've never seen that.
We actually had a shoe allowance before we did scrubs.
Oh, interesting.
And then I was like making the list out, and then the doctor was looking over it. She's like, "Oh, well, you guys have an assistant." I'm like, "Oh yeah, we do have an assistant." And so I'm just trying to like add in all those cool little benefit things that we do, that a real, like, a hygienist who knows what they're looking for. Like, okay, maybe I'm not going to get paid $200 million an hour like all the other people are telling you they're going to pay you, but I'll still be getting paid a very good pay. And then I've got all of these awesome benefits to go with it.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
The one thing I noticed was a huge red flag was if the OM is the
Wife.
or
husband.
or husband.
Yes. I'm gonna. So I actually work.
Devil's advocate.
A little bit, just some perspective. I actually worked for one office that the wife was the office manager, and I loved them both. We were Italian. We all spoke Italian. Like, it just, I don't know, the vibe was good.
We
clicked, and we got along, and I loved her. She loved me. She bought me a gift when Matthew was born. But that's a rarity. I will say that's a rarity.
It is a
rarity. And then I
rarity.
also worked for another office where the husband was the office manager and the wife was the dentist. And it actually was pretty cool too. So I've actually had 2 good experiences with that. But I agree, it can go either way. And 99% of the time, it's probably not going to go well.
Right.
My experience was not good because he not only had his wife as the office manager, but like his son was like doing collections like AR, and his son's wife was, I don't even know what the she was doing. She was just there.
Just
the
collecting a
office.
paycheck.
She was just there in the back office vaping. Like, what do you do here? So yeah, my experience was not good. But
if it's family run and operated, like, they need to kind of make you feel like your family as well, I feel like. And if they
you don't want to be an outsider.
and if they miss that boat, then it's not going to work. Like, they need to treat you.
If you make them feel like an outsider
but also
the whole time.
that was another red flag for people, is when people say we're like a family. Or we treat you like family.
That one kind of triggered me, I guess. Maybe because not that, I don't know. I guess I've always said that my office, we're like family. Obviously, my office is all women. There's probably, I don't know, maybe 20 of us. So it's not perfect. Like, no office is perfect. But for the most part, we all get along.
That's good.
Like family. We have a fight, or you're getting on my nerves, or we have a little tip, but then we get over it and we're fine. But as I've done this longer and longer and longer, when it comes down to it, it is a business, and this is your job. It's not your family.
I agree with that.
And I think that
it took me a while to understand
offices,
to realize that my coworkers are not truly my friends, because business is business.
Yes. Because you spend more time with them.
Exactly.
Sometimes than you do your family. So you just think, oh my gosh, I'm with these people all the time. We should have that connection.
Which I do.
And that's not to say there isn't a connection. There can be a bond between somebody that you work with and you really like, or even between your entire team. Can be a very cohesive unit. But I mean, at the end of the day, if
it keeps messing,
the business needs to make a tough decision, then they're not really going to consider that.
Yeah, I mean, guys know I'm like best friends with my doctor, but not like, I always tell him, like, this is personal. Outside of the office, it's personal. Inside the office, it's business. If you do some shit, I'm calling you out. Like, and we do that. We hold each other responsible.
Well, that's good.
We make each other accountable for what we do.
But he's a male though, and I'm not saying this because you guys all know, like, girl power to the umpteenth with me. But I feel like a more of a male female, you can say kind of that, and a lot of men will just let it go. Where if you were to be like that with another female,
females get territorial, like, they get weird. Yeah, you're right. I agree.
Like, stay in your lane, stay in your pay grade. Like, how dare you? Where a guy's like, oh, okay, I fucked up. Whatever.
Yeah, I agree.
Sometimes.
I've never worked with I don't think I've ever worked with a guy unless he was a dentist and was at like my direct, you know, whereas your dentist, Anna, is not in a supervisory role.
No, he's not the
like
owner. Yeah, we're coworkers.
Yeah.
We're not. I want to say one of my red flags, actually.
Yes, please.
So someone had posted an office ad. It wasn't an ad looking for a hygienist. It was just like the office and its atmosphere. I believe it's in Manhattan, where it was like a spa. They have like a separate area for patients to go have a drink, and then they have like
yes,
these
I saw that
suites as operatories. Office looked amazing, right? I don't think I could work there though. I'd be a patient there, but I don't think I'd work there because
no, I wouldn't work there.
These are patients that are used to being coddled and like their asses wiped, and that's not my vibe. And I don't. Yeah. For some reason, I don't do well with like needy people or needy patients. So I don't think I would do well in that environment. So like the ads that say things like
a spa-like
environment or superb customer service. Yes, you have to have good customer service, but that's a given. For me, that means that you are going to cater to these patients to the detriment of your staff. And that patient can tell your hygienist that you suck, I hate you, and not get dismissed from the practice. And that I don't like. But, so that for me personally is a red flag. But
I have a problem with dental spas because, there are probably people who are going to come for me if they listen to this, but I really think that it undermines the fact that this is a
healthcare
medical. That this is healthcare, that this is a medical procedure. And that's why patients think that they could come in and say, I just want a light polish. Or, I don't scale too hard. Or, those asinine, like, only use the plastic instruments on me.
I've had those.
You my God. Go now. No, I had a patient once that was like, I don't like metal on my teeth. You can't use metal on my teeth. I don't like the polish. You can't use the polish piece. I don't like
why are you
and
here?
I actually said that to her. I looked at her and I'm like, I'm sorry, but why are you here? Like, what do you want me to
That's like everything we
what
do.
do you want me to do for you? And she was like, well, just clean my teeth. I'm like, I can't do that if I can't use my metal instruments or my polish or this or that or you're leaving me no choice but to do nothing for you, and you could do that at home. So why are you here paying for your pro fee that you're not getting done correctly?
That soon
Let me
will
wave
not
my
be
magic
a pro
wand.
Like soon you're gonna be a perio patient.
Bippity boppity boo.
Exactly.
I know, Heather. I don't know if you've noticed on the job page for our state that's on Facebook. It's very, very active, and I'm happy that we have that as a resource because a lot of states don't.
I mean, I know what it is, but I haven't been on it lately.
The offices that are constantly looking for a new hygienist. Now, right now, that's everybody. So I will give grace a little bit there.
Pre-COVID,
but before that, there were a couple of offices where every few months, we're looking for a hygienist. We're looking for a hygienist.
High turnover.
That's definitely a red flag. If you see the same ad over and over and over again, there's a problem.
Yeah. And that was said. I don't really have a lot of pet peeves in this, but for some reason, my biggest thing is like in an interview, when they say, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Oh my God. I don't know.
I don't even know what I want for dinner tonight.
Exactly. Like, please tell me, what does that question
They want you
mean?
to say, in 5 years,
I'll be with you.
I'll be, expanding this practice and making it like...
And still getting this, pay that you pay. And, like, no, I hate that question.
I'm a hygienist. What else can I do?
There's plenty, girl.
Well, I'm finding that out now.
But if you're hiring for a clinical position in a dental office, a Dr. No Pain's office, like, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Winning the lottery and not working here.
Still scraping fucking teeth, man. Like, what do you... I hate that. I just hate that question. Maybe that's more of a personal thing, but I hate that question. It has no relevance, no value. Like, that's my pet peeve.
I hear you.
What's your biggest weakness?
I'm too pretty. I'm too pretty to work here.
I care too much.
I know. It's always a positive thing. You have to say something positive.
What's that joke? I'm too honest. How is that a weakness? Or that? Well, I don't. Never mind. I just fucked it up.
She ruined the joke.
I blew the joke.
Yeah, like stop asking these antiquated, stupid, like old school consultant questions.
I'm going to be honest with you. When I did interviews, it was so laid back. It was like we were friends. It was never like, so where do you see yourself in 5 years? So, and it was never any of that stuff. It was like, so what's up? What are we doing? Like it was very laid back and like,
I feel like that's how it should be.
This is what we're about. This is what we're offering. And we'd love to have you on board. What do you say? Like,
yeah, like, tell me how long have you been a hygienist?
Like tell me a little bit
about
your
experiences. Like, hey, we have this. Have you ever heard of that? Or, oh, you've worked somewhere that did this. Ooh, tell me all about it. Like,
oh yeah, I love getting tea about other offices.
Well,
like from
not
patients.
Yeah, well, that is a different story. That's not what I meant. But like my office for little Podunk, Indiana is very technologically advanced. Like we've been using AI for years before it became like this big boom. So
I love that.
Then hiring people, if somebody actually has something different than us, we're like, ooh, tell me more. Like, what does that do? How did you like it? Like, it interviews should not be so stuffy and pearl clutching. Like, everybody hates them. It's nerve-wracking. And you're not yourself. You will never be your true self at an interview.
I agree.
Because you're nervous. Yeah. And then you want to act like all super uber professional and
How do you guys feel about working interviews?
I'm not a fan of them. I'm not doing them. If I like the vibe, I'll take the job. If I don't, I'm not taking the job. If I start on my first day and I'm sitting there and I'm like, this sucks, I don't have to continue. So for me to call it a working interview is just like my first day on the job. It doesn't mean anything. But
I think it just kind of, for me, gives a negative.
I did a working interview once. Yeah. It was so weird. Like, the hygienist that I was, I guess, replacing, I'm not even sure if I was replacing her, if she was just the weekend hygienist. I don't know. But she hovered over me the entire time, watched me as I, like, washed my hands. I was like, no, I can't do that. I'm not going to sit here and be, like, watched by you. Like, either you like me or you don't. Either I get the job or I don't. And I'm okay with either way, lady. Like, we don't need to do this.
See, I don't mind them. I know on, like, some of the boards that, like the, not hygiene groups, but the dental groups where it's mostly dentists, like, they are almost adamantly against them. But for me, I feel like the working interview is really me interviewing.
No, I agree. But at the same point, as what's the difference between doing that on a working interview or day one of your job? Like, there's no obligation either way. We're in at-will states. Like, if after my first day of working, this isn't for me, I can easily say this isn't for me, just like I would if it was a working interview and I wasn't taking the job. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like it's
on the flip though, if you're already working day one on the job instead of doing a working interview, that means you've already quit your previous job.
Possibly, yeah, that's true.
And they've already told the other applicants, sorry, we picked someone.
I hear you.
Yeah. But I don't know.
I'm just curious.
I think I have done a working interview. It was not horrible. And I got paid.
Well, you have
I'm not doing a working interview.
I ain't coming there for free.
Well, how many stories have we heard about?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this negative energy around working interviews is people get screwed over because they don't get paid, or they get paid like some lowball.
Because
I can confirm
they legally have
that a certain corporation that I worked for, I did a working interview there, and they paid minimum wage.
That's all they're legally
working interview.
That's all they're legally obligated to pay. Unfortunately, is minimum wage. I would never do it, but
no. But for new grads, like for people that don't know that, like, you need upfront in writing that you are getting paid a hygiene wage.
If you're doing hygiene duties, if you're just shadowing, I feel like whatever.
No,
but
no.
if you're
if you have your own column of patients and you're doing a working interview, you're not taking less pay from the patient or their insurance. Why are you paying less? And I know a lot of offices were just doing working interviews at minimum wage without actually hiring a hygienist, and that's how they were just rolling.
Yeah. They were using them as subs instead of working interviews.
Yeah. So 30-minute appointments was another one, like, short, not an hour, blah, 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 which I know we all kind of have different ideas over that.
Yeah. Well, because Anna works double hygiene and she loves it, and some other people love it. But you have to have it done right.
Yeah, it's got to be done correctly. Right, it's got to be a dedicated assistant that is, and I have...
And the right personalities.
Yeah, I have an hour per patient. It's just that they're overlapped. Yeah, they're just, they're staggered in these columns.
But halfway through your appointment, your next one's already seated.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, like, so the assistant's seating, getting the exam and x-rays while I'm finishing up with this patient, and then we flip-flop. So it goes like that.
So I personally couldn't do that because I have anxiety. I'm like, oh my God, they're waiting on me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want them to wait on
me.
And
I personally love that, but, like, it's not for everyone. It totally is not.
You're more fly of the seat of your pants.
Like, I don't need to be,
It's a huge, it has to be A, done correctly, and B, you have to have the right personality. Personality tests was another one. If they ask you to take a personality test, we've seen a lot of those. A lot of them, I think, come from down south in Florida. Yeah. They asked you to take all these.
Is Scientology? Is it Scientology?
Yeah,
I would assume.
Yeah. What's the name of the consulting program that is Scientology based?
Oh, I don't know.
I think I know, but I don't want to say the wrong thing. So and get sued by Scientologists. So.
I hear that that's not a good time to be targeted by Scientologists.
No, just ask Leah Remini.
So, if that's good for you, then fantastic. But if they're sending you to Florida, that's a red flag.
Then you have to leave your phone at home. That's a red flag.
Ew.
And you're locked in the convention center. That's a red flag.
Yeah.
Or wait, there was one that said that in with her application, after she filled out her application, they gave her a medical history to fill out. I'm like, yes. So I was like, no.
Yeah.
Stop.
There was a lot in these 300 comments. A lot of them where patients were like, well, are you done having kids?
Oh, God. So illegal.
That's illegal. So illegal. And very inappropriate asking for medical histories. There was some really weird ones. Like, I thought somebody said, if my operatory doesn't have a window, I'm not working there.
I could see that.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, I could see that.
I guess. I thought that was weird.
Yeah.
But,
oh, no.
Another office said if they only have piezo and no Cavitron,
that's
I'm out.
I'm out. That is I'm out.
Really?
Hell yeah. I will not work with piezo. I hate that thing. I hate it.
How? But tell me. Like, you've used one, obviously. For how long?
I don't know. Not long, I won't say. Like, I worked at, I used to temp at an office like a few times a week with one.
Yeah.
I just.
So I felt like you. I felt like you, and my office only uses these neutrons or whatever, Satellac. They call them Satellacs, neutrons, piezos, whatever. And I hated it at first. I'm like, oh my God.
Same.
But I wasn't using it right.
I probably am not using it right. I'm not going to say that I am, but I feel like I know Cavitron, and I don't know, it just works better.
Yeah. See, I think the piezo worked better than the Cavitron for me. And the patients have way less sensitivity.
That I agree with. The sensitivity is better with piezo, hands down, but it doesn't remove the calculus as easily.
Oh, see, I don't have a problem. You just have to have the right ones.
Probably. But like, I just stab that calculus with a Cavitron, and it flies right out.
Stab
that.
Yeah. It's just all about like knowing it. Since I feel like our dental hygiene school, we learned on Cavitrons. We had like a crash course on piezo. So if you're not really trained on it and don't like use it every day and don't know like all the different tips, then yes, it is more difficult.
Yeah.
All right. The other thing I had, and I cannot believe I'm going to say this.
Okay.
Red flag is if they have consultants. Red flag.
It could go either way. It can go either way. Like sometimes I would say I would agree with that. Other times I think consultants do bring a good, some good to the office where if your perio percentage is at 15%, that's a fucking problem. Like, I'm sorry, but it's a problem.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of hygienists out there who are not diagnosing perio. And I feel like a hygiene consultant to help you recognize what you're dealing with is good in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
Other times I think it can go the opposite direction where they want everybody to be perio when that's not the case. You know, so I think it can go either way. I think a consultant is good in certain situations.
So if I would have read this before January of 2024, I would have been like, oh my God, consultants, forget it. I'm out. I'm not even staying, because I've worked with a consultant that is so antiquated and outdated, and every meeting we have is the same shit over and over and over. And his first knee-jerk reaction to every issue the office had, no matter what it was, is, well, maybe we need to cut a hygiene. Maybe we need to cut hygiene. Maybe we need to cut hygiene hours. Well, what's hygiene doing? I'm like, how about we cut you? Okay? Like,
literally,
what are they paying you? Okay, let's cut you, because you come here and you say the same shit every freaking quarter. It's nothing new. And all of your little like things that they send us to are ridiculous.
Yeah.
But then the doctors announced we're getting a consultant for hygiene only. And oh my God, I was ready to quit my job. You guys know I was ready to quit. Yes. Super anxious. And so this new company consultant comes in just for hygiene only. I'm in love.
Awesome.
I
That's
mean,
great.
they are like fantastic. This chick is like amazing. And she's a hygienist.
That's important. I think that's
And
very important.
This is uber important. And she has like an answer for everything. And it's not always in the doctor's favor, because the doctor pays her. And so she's, then they're afraid. But like, yeah, it's just amazing. And I've learned so much since my office has hired them in January. So I don't know. Be open-minded with consultants is all I have to say.
agree.
So to round out the episode, let's talk about some green flags. And I think in just discussing like among us, that we kind of touched on that a little bit. But somebody, and I'm not going to read it because I don't have her permission, but somebody posted her job ad and said, could I get some feedback on this? And by and large, everybody said, this is positive. Like, this is a good ad. I would probably apply if I were looking. But it had a lot of, I don't know. No, it doesn't say. It had probably over 100 suggestions on it, or just people saying, I would take this. So some of the feedback for her for how to improve it was to bullet points, because a lot of people anymore, our attention spans are so small.
Yeah. God, yeah.
And people will just like glance down at the bullet points and see, what we want to see. And then if it does pique your interest, then you go back and read the whole thing. So for the bullet points, benefits, like there wasn't anything in there about any kind of benefits, whether it's a part-time or a full-time job. I feel like a lot of part-time jobs come with benefits now. And I'm not talking about medical benefits. I'm talking about paid time off, CE and scrub allowance, shoe allowance, things like that.
Yeah.
Holiday pay,
401k,
a bonus structure, things like that. So those are things that I think are important for hygienists. And then also a little bit about how the day flows. So is it assisted? Do you get an hour? How much do you get for new patients? How much time do you get for SRP? Do you refer out? Or is everything done in-house? Pay, like a pay range or something like that. Anyway, those were some of the green flags. Basically, like, tell us about the actual job. We know what we do. We know what hygiene is about. Tell us what makes your office, what sets your office apart, and what's in it for us, basically.
Yeah.
A green flag for me is when it says autonomy to diagnose perio. That is huge for me. Like, don't.
Yeah.
I've tempted an office once where the doctor came up to me and was like, "You are not to tell these patients they have any periodontal disease or bone loss. We do not."
What the hell?
Like, for me, like, I need an office where I have autonomy to diagnose appropriately and do my thing. Like, leave me alone.
Yeah, like that's what we went to school
don't
for.
negate my shit. And we'll be best friends.
Just come in and agree. Just come in and agree.
Autonomy and collaboration between hygienists and doctors is key.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
Does anybody else have anything to add?
I think a bonus system is also a green flag for me personally. I thrive on that type of a system where I am rewarded for the work that I do. So that's a green flag for me. I don't know if it's a green flag for anybody else. Other people may feel that's a red flag. I don't know, but
yeah, it just depends on the office.
Yeah, it really depends. Yeah,
it depends on the bonus structure.
Yeah, exactly.
Too.
Yeah.
So, one thing is always if you go for an interview, if you can like look around and they allow you to like talk to the other employees and you can ask questions. Like, I feel like that is a big deal. I want to look at the schedule.
Yeah.
I want to look at the schedule. I want to look at sterilization. I want to look at the instruments.
I want to look at the op. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I want to meet every single motherfucker who works there. Yeah. I want to look at them in the face.
Yeah. And that's what I did.
I want to feel their vibe.
The one interview we just did, I swear she was at the office for like 2 hours. And she showed up 30 minutes before my shift was over, and they were interviewing her in the back room, which is right by my op. And I'm kidding you not, they were laughing. Like, one of my doctors was belly laughing, and I couldn't even like hear my patient. And I said, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry," which my patient was totally cool. I'm like, they're in the middle of an interview right now. She's like, "Oh, well, I would say it was going pretty good then."
Yeah.
But they were just like back there cracking up, laughing, like so low key. And then when I got done with my last patient, walked him up, I went back and like I walked her around the office and I showed her our schedule and I showed her our instrument. Like, she was probably there for 2 hours and she like thanked me so much. Like, yeah.
Awesome.
I think that's important.
That's huge. Don't just bring me into a room and ask me a bunch of where do you see yourself in 5 year questions.
Exactly.
And then say, okay, we'll be in touch.
Yeah.
So, all right. Anything else?
I think we're good.
Thanks for listening to another episode of RDH Rant Takeover. If you guys have any ideas for us for future podcasts, you can send us a DM. Find us on Facebook. That's where the magic happens. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok. It's basically just me posting a bunch of memes, but it's still pretty fun. So it's time for us to sign off. Time for you to floss off. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Peace, love, and brush your teeth.
Love, peace, and brush your teeth. I don't know if that's the way it goes. Bye.
Bye.